Hi all, this is the badging video for the plastic shredder here at MakeHaven. So the plastic shredder is a really cool tool. Its purpose is pretty obvious from the name. It's mostly used for recycling of one variety or another, so you can take different kinds of plastics and shred them and then repurpose them. So you can put them in an injection molder, you can put them in a heat press or vulcanizing press where you heat the plastic until it melts, and then you can squeeze it into a new shape. There are a bunch of other things that you can also do with shredded plastic to recycle it into a new useful thing. The way that the tool works is it has this big motor on the back. So the motor's spinning pretty fast, but through the gearbox, that high speed gets converted into a lot of torque. And so coming out here, it's spinning fairly slowly, but with a lot of torque. And if we look down here, we can see some shredding blades that shred the plastic. So we drop the plastic down in here, and it gets shredded, and then it drops down, and you should be able to see a metal grate down at the bottom, and the plastic lands on there, and it'll keep getting picked up and re-shredded until it's small enough to fall through that grate. And then you just put a bin underneath to catch it, kind of like that one. So it's fairly straightforward. So in general, you want to make sure that the plastic you're shredding and getting out the back end is suitable for whatever purpose you're using it for. And that probably means it needs to be fairly clean. You also probably don't want different kinds of plastics mixed in, because they could have different melting temperatures and mess up whatever process you're doing. So before using the machine, it's probably a good idea to clean it out a bit. You can use an air gun to blow it out. You can turn the machine on to help work some of the pieces out. As it says here, never turn the machine on when your hands are in it, and never put your hands in when the machine is on. You can also take the grate out of the bottom to help clean it out. The way to do that is just from the bottom. You can pull the frame out that's holding the grate in, obviously when the machine is not spinning. And then you can dump that out and clean it out to help clean the machine. There is this tamper rod, so as you'll see, sometimes the pieces of plastic don't fall in, and so you can use that to push the pieces of plastic where you want them. To turn the machine on, you set this to either forward or reverse. Reverse is for clearing clogs, so the thickest piece of plastic you should put in here is 1/8 of an inch. Any thicker than that, and it risks jamming the machine and stalling it, and that's not great. So 1/8 of an inch max. But let's say it still jams up for whatever reason, you can put it in reverse, it'll spin backwards, and that can help, clear out any stuck pieces off, obviously. If it does stall out to the point where it's drawing too much current, this reset button might pop, in which case you'll just need to push that to reset the internal fuse. To turn on the machine, we're gonna put it in forwards, and then down here, you push the foot pedal and push the green button, and now it's on. So this is spinning. You can see it's going pretty slowly. And down here, you can see that guy's spinning. So we're gonna drop some plastic in. All of the plastics should be labeled what they are going in, so you know what you're shredding. So the numbers in the recycling symbol mean a certain kind of plastic. So this one's very well labeled. This is recycled HDPE, and it's recycled and recyclable, so that's pretty cool. And it's blue, so that's gonna go in the number 2 HDPE blue bin. Each of the numbers refers to a kind of plastic. Number 2 is HDPE. So just make sure to be consistent, because each kind of plastic has a different melting point. So we're gonna take this blue bin and put it down here to catch the shredded pieces as they come out. And here I just put a cinder block underneath there to boost this bin up so it's a little bit closer. Depending on the size of your bin, you could boost it up more or less to get it closer so that more of the shredded bits land directly in your bin. So here we're gonna turn it on. It's in forward, pushing the pedal, turning it on, lifting the lid, and dropping this down. So that's pretty awesome. You can see why it would be horrific if a body part were to go in there. As another note, This lid is useful for things that tend to shatter when they get crushed. So things like acrylic are very splintery and will spray out. So you want to make sure to have this lid down for things like acrylic so that you don't get hit in the face. For softer things like HDPE, it doesn't really fly out that much. So it's not like a requirement to have this down. So we'll just shred these others just to see what it looks like, but that's the basic idea. Here we could use that tamping rod. Push it down in there. Now, let's say this piece wasn't moving and the tamping rod wasn't getting to it. We can turn it off and then use our hand to move it. Because it requires pushing the pedal and the button at the same time to get it to turn on, it's okay to put your hand in there when it's off. All right, so now we can re-drop it in. So you don't want to overload the machine by putting too much in there, but in this case, the more you drop in, the more it will get shredded. This little piece just keeps getting pushed to the side. But you can also probably see down at the bottom that there's a bunch just sitting on the net. So it kind of takes a while for all the pieces to get cut small enough to fall through. And at the end, there might just be some pieces that don't get cut up, so you can manually dump out the cage from the bottom. Let's say we wanted to go in reverse. You would just let go, turn this to reverse, pedal, green button, and now it's spinning in reverse. Ta-da. All right, so now we're just going to take the net out from the bottom to see what that looks like. So here you can see the net, so we can just dump these pieces in. We could run them through again if we really needed them to be that size. And then we can just re-push this right back up inside there. When you are done, you obviously want to make sure to reinstall the net and just grab a broom to make sure to sweep up the area to clean up all the plastic chips that didn't make it into your bin. In general, you don't want to put those swept up bits in your bin because it'll also have dust and dirt from the floor, and you don't want to put that into your final product. And then make sure to turn this to off, and you are good to go. So thanks for watching.